Welcome to This Week in Jump, number 10. I'm Turo.
And I'm Ryan.
This week, we'll be going off of my list. First on my list, I have Haikyuu.
Okay.
Nothing really goes on in this chapter, and ends up with just some very good blocks. That's pretty much all this first set was, and Karasuno does Karasuno's shots just get blocked, and they lose several points because of that, because they can't get over it. And pretty much that's it. Like, I really didn't have much more to add. The main issue here is just that their shots are being blocked. Really, no other mistakes are being made.
See, I had a little bit of a different interpretation of the chapter. Like, I actually really liked this one this
Really?
week. Yes. So let me tell you why. I enjoyed that they basically got curb stomped. After they were on fire and leading by 2 points, they eventually lost the lead, and then they lost by 5 at the end, which means they made 7 points up, and Karasuno was never able to catch up. But not only like they're able to block everything that they tried, they were actually able to score points off of hitting the blocker's fingers and making it go out. So they were able to get out points that way, and that just shows the level of skill that they have. That, I mean, even if they were getting blocked, technically they could try and get them to where the blocker accidentally blocks it and it gets an out on their side of the court, therefore giving them the point. But
Yeah, because whoever touches it last, and if it goes out or touches the ground, that's the point.
correct.
So one of the strategies is just make sure they touch it last. That's it.
Yeah, and they're just on that next level. Well, Korai, because he's the one, like, he's basically their playmaker. I didn't count the exact number of points that he earned, but I want to say it was between like 7 and 8. Almost all of them were him that they would showcase. I mean, he was even making points by just, serving.
Yeah.
He was making points doing that.
Well, now we actually see him doing something.
Yes.
When the set was originally starting, he was talking to the little giant, just leagues above you. Like, I'm so tall. Like, well, show something for it. Oh, I guess we saw it.
To be fair, he is a second year, so he already has the experience of playing at a high school national level. So I guess that's like the difference, is like he's not just having to make up that difference, and you can tell that he's visibly frustrated by the fact that they lost that set, and everybody watching is just like, how are they going to overcome this? So I like that setup. So that's what I got out of this chapter. That's what I liked about it. I could see, like, from a plot standpoint, not a lot happened other than just showing that they are just that much better at the game than Karasuno is.
Good points. Good points.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, have Food Wars.
I can guess why, but go ahead.
Yeah. A couple more things happened than Haikyuu, and I was getting a real feel for a tournament style between Yukihara, Soma, and Saiba. I was getting excited. They started to, emphasize more of the theme of these 5 cuisines working together. Saiba already, got started on his right away. Soma had to really think about it, and then decided, I'm just going to make 5 dishes and then just put them together at the end. That'll be my dish. Like, okay, sure.
Frankenstein it.
Yeah.
Franken food.
And yeah, like, he starts working on 5 different dishes, different cooking times, different ingredients, different cooking styles, all at once. He's working, to his strength of 5 different people ordering 5 different dishes and trying to make all of them at the same time, so that this group of 5 people can all eat at the same time. But since it's going into one entity, I'm really interested in what kind of finished meal this will really be. But won't get to see that until the next chapter, because they're being very secretive on what these two competitors have really made.
Yeah, I predict that they're going to show what they were doing leading up to actually presenting the dishes when they're actually reviewing having the person who's gonna. Is it gonna be the bookmaster?
I don't think so.
You think they have separate? I don't think I've seen any judges.
They didn't announce any, but I think they might. I think they might bring on a special guest to actually judge these.
I did like that. The whole idea of making multiple dishes does play to Yukihira's strength. It plays to it because of the experience he had when he was working at what is his name, Shinomiya's at the Star GA, when he was having to make all those different French cuisines and cook and learn all the different rhythms
And
for making multiple courses.
Be a line cook.
Yes, so that's where he shines.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying. So for that, I liked it. Not I wouldn't put it as
Next chapter, I might put it
higher.
significantly higher. I really need to. I really need them to emphasize the food in this. Not so much the battle between these two, but I need the food to really be the center point of this next chapter.
I can see that.
Number 15, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Okay. I had it much higher, but that's going to have context.
Yeah, I don't have any context. And this is... I don't think I would need context in this sense.
True, you've read up to this point, like
Yes.
as far as like this fight goes, so you
And
know
this
kind of what's going on.
Moon Pillar?
No, it's Upper Moon.
Upper Moon.
Upper Moon, he's the third Upper Moon.
Yeah.
So
The
really
third
high.
Upper Moon, we see a flashback for the enemy, and I can kind of understand, oh, why did he stop fighting in those instances a couple chapters back? Why is he being held back by these spirits, like literally holding his arms back and looking very pitiful at him, even though doesn't have a head right now. And he doesn't recognize these figures.
Nope.
Until we go into the direct flashback, where when he was human, he was a terrible, bratty criminal.
But he did it for a good reason. He had motivation because his dad was sick and he was trying to get money for his dad.
Yeah, but to the point of, I don't care if I keep getting cut. Like, you're just going to keep hitting me. I'll heal up and I'll get better.
Yeah. And that's where he got his tattoos on his arms.
Then once he essentially gets released, the last time, he's told that his father had killed himself. A way to, no longer be a burden is to no longer be there.
Yes.
To no longer force his child to do these things. Maybe he didn't force him to do these things, but
he felt pressured to do them.
yes,
His kid did.
He felt pressured. Yeah.
His actual name as a human was Hakuji.
How could you?
So that's new. I don't think they ever mentioned that.
Yeah. But then, I'm really not sure who he was fighting in this sense. Was this the magistrate and his guards?
Yeah, I think he was fighting the person who was
Caught
whipping him, caught him last time. He's fighting them.
And he beats all of these adults up and finds... And some dude walks up to him and says, "Oh, you beat up a bunch of people? Why don't you come to my dojo, be my student?"
We learn his name is Keizo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, why? He has no reason to. Why would he want to? He's just in a fury right now. furious rage, but he gets pummeled immediately and dragged to the dojo.
Little side note: he is in the same fighting pose that he uses as a demon. By the way.
Oh, okay. See that? I wouldn't have caught that.
Yeah, it's the Soryu style. So
So
after,
obviously, he learned something there.
yep, but he still can't realize that these memories are of him. And so he learns that he's alike to him and that he needs to get... He's reminded of... What's the best way of saying that? Reminded of how he was and how he had that drive to get stronger and stronger for a cause. But now he just wants to take out everything that's in his way. So he sees himself in Tanjiro with that. So that's why he gets disgusted with him. And that's why all these memories are kind of resurging in him. I thought it was nice to give him like actual, because it was weird that he kept mentioning I don't like this guy. I don't know why I don't like him. It's a lot of people are like that. I feel where they see somebody doing the things they used to do, and it's like, oh, don't do that. Like when like ex-delinquents are like seeing delinquents and like, hey, don't do that. Just, there's another way. There's another path.
I can see that.
So I personally thought very highly of this chapter.
Okay.
It was much higher than mine. But
from not keeping up with it as much, I first saw this as, why do I want backstory for a villain that should be dead right now?
Well, once you get caught up in the anime, once the anime gets to the part where they introduce him, you will see why... Well, you'll see why he's such a big deal and why Tanjiro wanted to kill him, but now he's getting characterization to show why he did the things he did and why he's done what he's done.
Okay.
Instead of just being a... Because almost all of the demons have like a underlying reason, except for the ones that are just malicious, and they were always malicious. I don't know, I feel like the stronger ones have more going on in their backstories so far.
Okay. I'll give you that. Next up, Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs.
I thought this one was actually pretty interesting this week too.
So we see the young Kogarashi being possessed by a anatomy mannequin, and he's running through his school naked.
Yes.
Why? Also,
because the anatomy thing was naked?
Yeah, but why do we...
Why does it have a spirit?
To go along with Demon Slayer, why are we getting more flashbacks and flashbacks and flashbacks?
Because flashbacks are how you develop a character if they've already been introduced. The only way to like characterize what they went through is to do a flashback. It's very... Because it... I liken it to... It's probably the easiest narrative tool to just use a flashback. Because, I mean, even the big three used flashbacks.
Yeah.
They would go into a whole arc.
The swing of Naruto got more screen time than 10-10. That... Flashbacks... I think I might just have something against too many flashbacks.
Did you not like the flashback from One Piece with Nico Robin, where they had that whole like arc? Or is it just like...
Hers was interesting, and it was short, and it was quick and done.
Or is it just the concept of a flashback that just like irritates you?
I think it's just the concept of flashbacks. Like, I'm interested in what's going on now. I don't really need to know what's happened in their past. I want to see what they're doing now, what they'll do in the future.
It's another way of getting around doing exposition through, like, just complete narration. Because, spoiler for this chapter, Kogarashi actually is the one that took on the debt for somebody else. But we already knew that he had a debt. We didn't know how he got it. He could have just said... Would it have been more interesting to see Kogarashi just say how he got the debt versus seeing everything that happened leading into that. Like just like a little narration blurb instead of just having like a full-blown flashback where it shows like you get more characterization, you see facial expressions, you get how he felt at the time because you see how he was at the time. Because not all the time one-for-one transfer of how a person feels then versus now.
Some of the stuff that gets lost in translation there between just a small blurb and a full-blown chapter devoted to it, obviously one is going to be able to inform the reader a lot more. But I think I would have been much more satisfied just getting another chapter of what's going on right now, with how we left Yuna being held captive, and the lead head of that clan was going to kill everyone in the end. Or at least
that's what it looked like. Either that or imprison them.
Yeah. In which case, that's a lot more interesting than a flashback chapter right now. That is why I placed this one so low.
I think it was the perfect time to have this flashback.
Really?
Yes, because Kogarashi is the exact age that he was just before he actually accepted what he did as wrong and then it said, I'm going to fix this. This is the same age that happened at. So we have him reverting back to that mindset when this is still fresh in his mind. So it makes sense that this would... It's almost like this is what he was dreaming about before he woke up. That's what it feels like. Because it even leads into when he wakes up in this chapter and he sees Yuna on top of him. So that's why I thought it was actually kind of good in that aspect.
Okay.
Different opinions. That's
and
what it
different
is.
opinions are okay. Different opinions are okay.
So I guess we should talk about the actual, like, plot points of this chapter. Not a whole lot happens other than you get to see that he was frequently possessed. His teacher, Sakura, didn't really believe that he would be possessed by spirits, ghosts. And then one of the older teachers actually told him, no, he actually was rabid like an animal, and then he was fine and normal after that. Then he gets possessed by a dog that was roaming around the school when he was there, winds up attacking her, and then he runs away and gets possessed by a ghost.
Yeah, the ghost turns out to be,
Her dad.
her dad, but also a stockbroker.
Yes.
And he has some things that he needs to get done before, he passes on. So he forces Kogarashi for a month.
That's a lot.
A month of possession.
Seems excessive.
You can tell why Kogarashi didn't like possessions. He has no real free will there.
And it didn't seem like he had any way of expelling them either.
Yeah, because no spiritual power, at least. None that he can focus.
Yeah, he wouldn't learn that till later. When he was a little bit older. And yes, the man who died was Sakura's dad. But her uncle, who was rich, was willing to pay the debt, but she still has to pay him back. And I did the math. The 10 million comes out to about 92,000 USD.
Yeah.
Which is
a
lot.
It's doable because people,
Mortgages.
mortgages, several cars over the years. It's doable, but not without hardship. Not without careful planning around it.
Correct.
Which not everyone is able to do by themselves.
But how emotional he gets and how he breaks down and lets her know that if he just listened to what the old man said and did what he's asked about, I guess, just closing and pulling out all the money before the crash, she wouldn't have been in debt.
Yeah, everything would have been paid off.
So he realized that he wakes up and he's not in his normal like hut made of cardboard.
Yeah.
And he's with Yuna, and then we're right back to where they wake up a chapter and a half ago.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Alrighty. Next, I have The Last Sayuki. It's doing better. It's doing better for me now. We start off with Sai speaking to Ryunosuke and his father, and kind of to Kohaku as well, that Kohaku and Sai are not essentially brother and sister, but are one being, one creature, and that they are not considered human. In one sense, they were able to connect to each other on a spiritual level, and Ryunosuke's father stole Kohaku because Koharu. And essentially, no, kidnapping. It's a pretty big deal. But knowing that Sai currently is a member of the Dark Society trying to bring demons into the world, yeah, kidnapping might be okay in this sense.
Yeah, preventing the world from ending would be definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
Sai is actually... He actually likes Ryunosuke because of the fact that Koharu likes him.
Yeah. Because they are essentially like one being.
Yeah. He actually tears up.
Yeah. And he doesn't immediately, go after Ryunosuke and hurting him. He goes up to the father, who really has no attachment there.
Mm-hmm.
And we see his father immediately just, while he's wiping away tears, that moment where he closes his eyes, the hand shoots out, the Yoibo gets jettisoned out from Ryunosuke's father's severed hand. So it still has feeling, because it's still able to grip this. It's not just activating on its own. And he grabs his arm and immediately just attaches it back to where it was severed. And it starts reattaching itself.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? And his father just states that he's immortal. Like, that's pretty bad. That's pretty cool.
Sai apparently says that he is in the shape of a human, but he's not really human, or in the form of a human. So I don't know if that means that Ryunosuke's dad isn't human, like confirmed, or he's just saying that.
In which case,
Ryunosuke would be not... He'd be half human.
But also could be not his dad. Could be
Valid.
Another kidnapped child.
Oh my god. Theories.
I don't think so. I think he's actually his dad. So we have Sai and Ryunosuke's father just fighting at it with their Neo Ibos, while Ryunosuke and Koharu are told to run away and are. She doesn't want to run away. She doesn't want to leave father behind.
Mm.
So he wants them to run away and just leave her. Just leave me with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, like, I'm here to protect you. Like, you're my little sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you really want? It's like, oh, I want to stay with you. And then they get that same kind of
mental link. This was cool.
This is why I put it much higher up. Is we see new tactics, new attack patterns for the Neo Ibos, where we see it coming in at one angle, he moves out of the way, and it jettisons from a different portion of the staff, another staff, and another one pointing at a different direction.
And then another one.
And then another one that's elastic to wrap around him and trap him.
Yes.
His ability to control the Neo Evo is said by Sai that it's almost identical
To Son Goku.
to Son Goku, the Monkey King, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from Chinese mythology.
Yeah. That's really cool. And we see Ryunosuke, like, sparkling. Like, I'm not sure if this is their link that's being activated and raising his spiritual power or what, but his Mu has been elevated for sure.
That's what it looks like. That, and she's supposed to be able to make the impossible possible, so if he was already able to manipulate it in general just by extending it without her help, if he has her amplifying his power, it basically makes him like next tier, like in strength, like basically doubling or even like multiplying his power.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Next, we have We Never Learn. We start off with Naruyuki being at the cram school, just studying. You know, he's got some important stuff going on very soon. After he's been told by his family and his mother that we have money for you, we want you to get started and start using some of this for you.
Yes.
And Naruyuki finds a small girl that is in need of help. She's kind of lost.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to the same location. Follow me, like I'll be able to help you. And she recognizes him as Naruyuki.
Well, after some people around him mention his last name of Yuga.
Mm-hmm.
Yuiga.
Yeah, and he's just being very nonchalant about it until she blurts it out. It's like, oh, I guess I'm kind of well known around here. And, you know, his natural ability for helping people and helping them, teaching. He starts teaching her, essentially like a refresher for this course.
Yes.
And, you know, this little girl is related to Asumi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, she's
Your little sister?
She's your little sister. Like she found you. So happy that you're a cute little sister. Like, oh yeah, he called me cute. You hear that, big sister? It's like, Mom, what are you doing here?
But of course she's the mom.
Yeah.
Can't be the younger sister, even though she looks like she's 17.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Asumi's mom. Like, oh, how did you find out that I'm here? Like, oh, your dad told me. Like,
I thought you guys were separated.
I thought they were separated. Like, oh, apparently they're still, good friends and all that. Which, it can happen. I know a family that is like that. Still good terms, still friends, still go out to eat and stuff while still doing their own lives. It's possible.
So she comments on how they aren't really lovey-dovey, so they end up holding hands because she knows that they're supposed to be in a relationship, but they're super awkward about it when Asumi and Nariyuki are holding hands. But she geeks out about it and is just ecstatic.
I'm sure you can feel her energy while it's behind them. Like, I guess we'll just not use one of our hands while we need to study this cram school.
I guess I'll use my left-hander, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to the clinic.
Yeah, and the mother and father start fawning over
The family photo.
family
photo albums. That is hard to say, actually.
Yeah.
Family photo album.
Family photo album. I can only say it if I really break it up. But yeah, they're just gushing over it, being very cute. They're blushing. They're obviously very proud of their little girl, showing them to
She's 19.
Yeah, well above the age where they should be doing this, but they want to make Naruyuki feel as comfortable as possible because they are supposed to be dating.
Mm-hmm.
And see a nice little picture of happy patience and Asumi with her mom and dad
As a doctor.
as a doctor. Another test of lovey-doveyness.
A Pocky game.
Pocky game where it's a game of chicken where you keep eating a singular piece of Pocky
Between two people
facing each other. The first one to turn their head and break the Pocky loses.
You just kiss.
Yeah, or you just kiss. They get pretty close, and then the mom just gets too red in the face. She can't take it. She's too excited, so she
All done.
she makes the decision for them to make them turn their heads.
And the father's visibly upset that he didn't get to see them kiss.
Yeah,
But she knows that they're lying.
yeah, a mother always knows.
But she'll keep it a secret from Asumi's dad. Just let him keep believing it.
I'm sure
Eventually
they won't need to fake it if Noriyuki decides to go down this path. But that's not what's on the agenda right now.
No.
We have Asumi hungry, so she goes downstairs to get something to eat and overhears a conversation that it's time to close down the clinic.
Yeah, because
We're good.
Yeah, her dad's running out of stamina. He just isn't as spry as he used to be.
Yeah.
People burn out.
He definitely has the heart for it, but
Can his body take it?
yeah, his body take the stress because healthcare is very stressful. Like, people's lives are in your hands. If you can't take care of yourself, like, how are you going to take care of others? Yeah.
Also, that drawing is basically like her, where all of her dream and motivation comes from is like wanting to be a doctor and then make the clinic better and keep the clinic going. That's what's driving her.
Yeah.
So when she learns that news, she just feels even more devastated. You can tell by how she reacts to it.
And I doubt she could do anything right now. It will still take her a very long time to get a doctoral license.
Yeah, because you have to go through like basic college
license.
and then medical school.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Japan's very similar in that it's probably at least another 6 or more years, or 8, depending on like what.
Yeah,
like,
especially,
requirements.
to be the head doctor at a clinic. Yeah, you probably need
8 years, probably.
a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Not sure on the specific. But yeah.
Yeah, because
Very
that,
disheartening there at the end.
It's because that bombshell that I put it higher on mine.
Yeah.
I think that'll end part 1.
Continued in part 2.